On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Rated Arrow, and we are back at it again for another Bag Talk episode. Today we are talking about Bitcoin and investment and ideology. And before we get into that, I want to go ahead and remind you, go ahead and like that video if you've been here more than twice, or you're digging the content, you're seeing some of the other stuff that I talk about, and you're feeling like this might be something that you can rock with and you can deal with my ranty, long-winded presentation. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Wolf Pack. Also, as you're hitting that subscribe button, don't forget to hit the bell notification and turn all notifications on, so that way you get notified as soon as these drop, these premieres. And once we get to 500 subs, we'll be starting to do some lives. I've obviously Q&As are super easy. That we could do that. I'm also going to probably start doing at that point, start looking into doing like some reaction lives, some panel discussions that are financial based. I like doing those types of things. So we'll be bringing that back in. That's kind of my OG, what I used to do. Obviously not about money, but from the perspective of just topic based, either debate or just conversation. I like doing that. I like Q&A style stuff. Also, I'm on Blossom. If you're not on Blossom, you might want to look into it. It's an app for people like us. It's honestly, it's for people like us. It's all money talk, finance, personal finance, all things finance. It's all bag talk. Like, I really wish they would have called it bag talk instead of Blossom. Just cause. But you can verify your portfolios, which I have. We've got the Charles Schwab link to this. I do not have the pro version, so I can't put the Robinhood over there yet. But you can link all of your stuff. It's got like a lot of platform interaction there. So you can, when you're talking, you can actually go back and be like, hey, is this person talking about something that he owns? Is it something that they're into? Like, how much are they involved in this? Are there receipts? And we're big on receipts over here, so like I don't have that issue, but I do like a platform where you can see what the people are talking about in respect to, like, do they actually own this? That kind of makes me happy, because it takes the guesswork out of it. So now when you're going back and forth with somebody, you can just be like, yo, like, this person's just on here saying stuff. And there's a couple of knuckleheads on there that just say stuff, and that's cool, because you can tell they don't have profile pictures, and they're negative, and then you go look at their profile and there's nothing linked to it. They're just on there to be on there. But I'm on there, and like, it's got, I post on here pretty regularly. It allows you to give the rationale behind your trades. So you can put little blurbs in there about that. Like, when things are going on the market, I post about that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So so we're going to go ahead and jump into this conversation. We're going to start off with the investment aspect of it, because that's the easiest thing to wrap your head around. There is a gray area where the investment and the ideology kind of blur. There's like a middle ground line where this gets murky. But from just straight numbers, investment, we take the emotion out of it. We take what's going on, the debasement of the currency, just take it out of it. We're just going to look at numbers. It's easy to tell the difference between 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and hundreds of thousands. Bitcoin, since its inception, is the best performing asset ever created. Ever. There's no question about it. Like, the numbers don't lie. Math is math. And we've got about 16 years of data. Allergies. 16 years of data of this just punching every other asset in the face. And now you've got BlackRock, governments, states, countries, pension funds, retirement accounts. Everything is accepting Bitcoin. The adoption is real. It's not going anywhere. And, you know, there's only so much of it to go around. The other thing that I want to show you is this. And this is kind of one of the things that I think a lot of people, it doesn't really set in. What this is a chart of the median house if valued in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's median price 2011 Q1 was 33,000 or 339,146.031588 Bitcoin. That's how many Bitcoin you needed to have in 2011 to purchase the median house. Now I'm just going to go ahead and, like let's just take a random one, 2017, move forward 6 years. We're down to 35.99. Okay, let's just say 36 Bitcoin. We're going to round that up. 36 Bitcoin 6 years later. And then fast forward to 2025 Q2, we're at 4.162 466 Bitcoin. Everything is getting cheaper in Bitcoin over time. And I think that even though we're looking at the volatility, and you can see this chart is tracking the volatility because there's like little pumps up, but over the long scale, this is going down. And as you can see in dollar value, I'm going to put the Bitcoin chart over here because like in 2011, Bitcoin was worth 67 cents. Like Bitcoin is going up in value in dollars. This is a visual representation of your dollars being removed, your buying power being removed. You're being robbed of your stored energy because that's the reason people save money. Is so that they can expel that energy that they worked for because you already worked for this at a certain rate. And then when you go to spend those dollars, it's at a lower rate than what you worked for. You're being robbed of your time and energy is the reality of what's going on. And this is a visual representation of it. Now, for those who are in Bitcoin, everything gets cheaper for us. Everything gets cheaper. As our dollar in fiat terms and the money that's being debased terms goes up and up and up. And everything is just getting cheaper for us. And that's the math. From an investment perspective, it's just like, hey, what's a better investment? Something that has a CAGR of 10% a year or something that has a CAGR of 100 and something percent a year? Bitcoin versus the S&P 500, because that's supposed to be the safest thing. They're putting you in a diversified fund. You need to invest in everything. So that way you don't lose money. The issue is if you're playing not to lose and you don't have anything, you get wealthy slower. That's how they trick you into working till you're what? I think they raised it to like the retirement age to like 72 or something like that. So that they can tell you when you can stop being fuel for the machine. You can stop having your time and energy robbed from you. Maybe. And this is the reality that we live in. So from the investment standpoint, like I don't see where there's an argument aside from, oh, it's volatile and I don't like seeing numbers go up and down. And like to that, the only thing that I can tell you is go buy the S&P and have fun working till you're 70. Like that's fine. There's a million different ways to skin this cat. But those same people will go gamble in the stock market on individual stocks that don't have a 15-year track record of outperforming Bitcoin. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, I don't understand how one thing, just because you don't like seeing numbers go up and down, but like you buy lottery tickets. You don't like seeing numbers go up and down, but like you'll go take your money to go get a Porsche or a Corvette or whatever luxury, whatever, to impress people that immediately goes down in value. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I really don't. So now we're crossing over into the ideological conversation because there's a lot of people who consider them are Bitcoiners. And I'm like, I just think that there's levels within there because I fall into the ideology of it as well, where our dollars are being debased. They're robbing us of our time, of our energy. And you get to go to places with bosses that talk to you like you're crazy, and they know that you have to play the game, and they're a little bit ahead of you in the game, so they believe that they're better than you. So you just have to eat crow, and then eventually you become that boss. And then I guess the way that it works, at least for Gen Xers, is they go, well, now I'm going to be crappy to somebody else. And I just don't think that that's a good way to live. I don't think you have a good life that way. I don't think that you have a good life exuding financial control over others in a manipulative fashion to keep them subjugated under you, to make yourself feel like you're better than somebody. I mean, it technically goes against nature because obviously the strongest survive, the most adaptable survive. And like we've created this game where it's like you've just got to get up to throw your weight on top of the person behind you to like make yourself feel better than them. And I don't like that. I don't like middlemen. I don't like games that aren't on a level playing field either. So Bitcoin, from the ideology standpoint of it, cut out all the middlemen, level the playing field. This is the game. This is what it is. Everyone can take part, buy in at your rate. I can't just go buy whole Bitcoins. I fought to get my whole Bitcoin. And when I was buying was back in 2013. So hold on, let me go back to my little chart here and see what the price was around then. So I started buying when Bitcoin was around, oh God, in the 400s, under $500. And the funny thing is, during that time period, I did not have the available extra cash to buy whole Bitcoins. I was buying it with change out of my checks, $1 here, $5 there. Every once in a while, I get $100. And then when tax season came around, whatever my tax return was, I would purchase crypto with that also. But by the time I got that into it, Bitcoin was over $1,000, and I was getting like 300 something bucks. Tax returns, maybe 6 if I was lucky. And then some years I actually ended up owing, which sucked. But we'd also started having altcoins. So I was out there getting distracted, thinking everything was going to destroy Bitcoin and it wasn't going to make it. And I wasn't a Bitcoin maxi. And, fast forward, here we are. So it's all relative. But I fought to get over 1 Bitcoin. Like I had to make some decisions. I made a bunch of sacrifices. I, made some hard choices. And not being able to just go buy Bitcoin, like a lot of the people that are Bitcoin maxis that are telling everyone down the mountain, because that's what they're doing. They're screaming down the mountain. They're not average Joe. They don't let people like me speak because we gatekeep everything, even Bitcoin. People do not want to talk to me about Bitcoin. They don't want to talk to the average person about Bitcoin. Even those of us who've been in Bitcoin longer than them, they want to tell you to sell your house, put all your money in Bitcoin, no matter what. And the math on that from an ideological perspective, actually, it's not even from an ideological perspective, it's from a mathematical perspective, does not shake out. People in my position, because I'm still getting it out of the mud. I'm still in the murk. I still go to a job where I get talked to crazy. I still go to a job to where they, you're in the position that you're in, and it's like, well, basically this is like what you're going to get, and we want to keep you here, but like we also don't want to pay you. Just the reality of things. So, which is every job for some odd reason. I mean, obviously, if you work at NVIDIA, they make sure that their employees are all rich. I don't know why everybody can't do that. Sounds like a pretty fun game to me. But unfortunately, we live in this crab in a bucket. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to manifest your destiny. So I'm going to utilize you while your time's getting robbed via debasement and inflation. to manifest my destiny so that I can breathe. And I'm going to hold you underwater so that I can breathe. And that's the reality of what we live in. And I don't like it, and I don't want to participate. So that's where we're working out of. That's the reason we're doing this channel, because I figure if I'm on this journey, there's got to be some other people who are in the same position that also would like to know that, like, yo, is there a way out still? Yes, I'm on it. So I have an income problem. So I do not get to just straight up buy Bitcoin. I scrounged to get the first one, and then I realized that the game for me was to protect that until it was usable. And we're still protecting it. So if I were to, go, for instance, I'll just throw out Jack Mallers route, where he just completely de-dollarizes. Obviously, your medium of exchange is dollars, but I guess if you're just buying gift cards that convert into dollars as store bucks or whatever, and your taxes, you still got to sell off or borrow against to get dollars. But all of his money leaves the system as soon as he gets it. And that's awesome to be in a position to where you can do that. For the everyday person, we are not in that position because we do not have the income to buy large amounts of Bitcoin. We were not in Bitcoin as early as some people, because in 2013 I wasn't even buying. I built a mining rig. And that was back when you could mine at your house, and we had a place that we were renting that had no utility fees. And I feel sorry for that guy because we ran those fees up a lot. But you got to do what you got to do. So, and I didn't have the understanding of it from the ideological perspective, nor did I have the understanding of the macroeconomic perspective of what was going on. Otherwise, I might have gone all in then, and it might have changed everything moving up to now. But if you're starting now, me, as I'm on a journey also to acquire another Bitcoin for use, it's not as easy as they say. You got bills, you got debt, you got things you got to pay. It's not that simple. I have to solve the income problem first, for me personally. I mean, if all I had to do was stay at home and I had just my passive income portfolios working for me, that might be a different conversation, because it's like, cool, anything that I don't spend, everything goes into Bitcoin. Maybe we could do that then. But the system and the game that we're playing right now, I don't have that privilege. I don't come from a family that had money. Like, I don't have all of those specific advantages. And I want to say it's privilege. He didn't choose what family got born into. We just got our lots. But the issue is people look from their purview only, especially when they're at the top of the mountain already. And coming from the top of the mountain, you're speaking down to people who you probably couldn't exist on their salary. Like, the closet that Jack records from is as big as my room, and that's his closet that's empty. So, I mean, like, not all of us are multimillionaires with a bazillion, gazillion, trigazillion dollars coming in. So we don't just get to go, oh yeah, I just buy all the Bitcoin and then I trickle it back into the system as needed so that I can live off of it. Like, that's not necessarily how that works. What we are doing, though, is putting our savings, looking at it as long-term retirement, and hope. I'm looking at it now as property. Like, I've got my first property and I was planning on getting another one with the equity off this one. And instead of doing that, I will probably be using the equity off this to increase my passive income to then purchase more Bitcoin. And as I've clearly stated, all of our loans are getting de-risked by going into Bitcoin. I'm incorporating Bitcoin into every facet of the climb out of the matrix. Ideologically, people would say that I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, and I believe that I am. I think that there's levels to it. I think that at the very top, you have the people that are already rich or have gotten rich with Bitcoin that are, doing a service. They're telling the people what's coming, what they need to do, and screaming that there's life rafts and the Titanic is sinking. And I can understand that. The issue is there's no contextual conversation with regular people that go to work. Like I've been in crypto and Bitcoin specifically a lot longer than a lot of these people, but I'm not rich. And they don't want to have those conversations with normal people to see what's going on, boots on the ground. Like it's just not a conversation that's had. You always see rich people interviewing other rich people. They don't talk to the regular Joe that's just out here surviving, making under 6 figures, going to work for 10 hours a day, strapping up their boots, that are being robbed, that know they're being robbed and trying to get out, and like going into what those strategies look like. Because I can't just say like just dump your whole check in Bitcoin and figure it out. Like that's simple, dismissive, and just not something that literally anyone who's making under 6 figures. And honestly, if you're just at 6 figures, like if you just making 100,000, still might not work for you. Like you might need to be at 250,000 or something like that. And those conversations aren't had. And so like that's where you get into the ideology. Like I watch a lot of these speeches that are super powerful, that are lining it out, letting you know what's going on, and people are just like, oh, that seems very culty. It's like you're being robbed actively. Like, yeah, like you should have some emotion about that. Like you should feel something about that. And you should also, it should make you mad. It should make you want to spur into rapid, immediate action to figure out like what needs to be done to get out of the system. It makes it so that if you're not tap dancing to work, and I don't know too many people that do. And by tap dancing, I mean like, would you solve these problems for free? And I got to take a jab at all my realtors because that's a big thing that they love to put. Oh, I do this job for free. Like, Stephanie, you're not making any money and you just put up TikToks and get attention just like you would doing anything else that you do on the internet. Of course you would do it for free because you were putting up TikToks before you became a real estate agent. Also, you haven't sold anything. So yes, you are technically doing that job for free, which is posting on the internet, which you were doing before for free also. It's just now you have a real estate license that you paid for and you're a little bit further in debt and you're hoping somebody buys a house from you. Yes. But most of us aren't. Most of us are not tap dancing to work. Like we're doing what we got to do to get where we need to get to keep the roof over our heads. And once you realize that you're also being robbed of that time, like you can't store that time and labor for future use at the rate that you were paid when you performed the labor. It's upsetting, especially when you got to go to work and have people talk to you like you're crazy that you don't necessarily like working with. Yeah, it's upsetting. Yes, most of us are going to figure out ways to opt out of the system. And fortunately, there is becoming more and more ways to do that. And we go over a lot of those within the other content on this channel, where you can structure your finances so that you don't have to do that until you're 70 or whenever they tell you can quit. Because between now and the time that we're 70, they're probably going to raise the rate. They're probably going to raise the age again because we're not reproducing. And they're debasing the mess out of the currency. And I don't want to be a part of that. And so, I'm probably going to do a video breakdown. I'm going to do an episode called Why We're Quitting, where I go into my thoughts on that, because the job market and the way that these people that own these businesses run these businesses, it's freaking toxic and it's stupid. It's not even that it's like, oh, this makes sense and just toughen up. It's like, no, you don't start a business to have a fiefdom so that you can treat people like crap. Like, that's dumb. It is dumb. And it's not necessary. Like like I said, I'm going to do a video on it, but I'm just saying, from the ideological perspective, like it bleeds, because like I can't talk about Bitcoin, the investment, without talking about Bitcoin from the perspective of the from the perspective of what's being taken, like the time theft that they're taking from us, the fact that you can't just save dollars and then go later on and do what you want to do with it at the rate that you had, because like now you can't afford whatever it was that you were saving for. Like that's crazy. And so it creates this gray area where it's like, yes, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, but I'm also in a situation where I am not at a state to where I can just go pure Bitcoin play. I can't do it. I have to fix my income problem. I have to invest in other things to like buffer that so that I can not go to work, because I don't want to do that either. And it's go to work in a place where I'm working because I have to. I want to work because I want to. I'm a very active person. I'm always doing stuff. That's not the issue. I don't want to have to be in places, and I would, it'd be nice to be able to go, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'll go do a job that pays less that I actually want to do, or something that I'm actually interested in, or learning a skill, or doing something of that nature. Right now, everybody's in survival mode. People are doing what they have to do. They keep telling us, oh, you got to go get in tech. You got to go get in IT, da-da-da-da-da-da. And AI is replacing all those jobs. So you're go get hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Oh, still go to college. Like, why? So that you can not have a job? Like, I have a job. Like, I'm not worried about not having a job. Like, you're going, oh, well, I'm going to go get this 6-figure job that I'm going to get replaced at so that I can go not have a job at all. Great. Like, that just doesn't sound like a plan to me. So those things get blended, and it's almost impossible. And I've seen people that just invest in Bitcoin and look at it just as an investment, because I don't really believe that it's an investment. I think that it's for me, it's more of a savings vehicle to be in the future. I look at it like my house. I look at it as property, honestly, because we can now, they brought back leveraging for it. We can leverage against it. We can do all the same plays that I would do with a house without the maintenance of a house. So my second house will be another additional Bitcoin. And then I guess I have like the one that I accumulated first. That's a retirement house. Cool. And we need a second one so that we can do some leveraging, and we're going to be leveraging this one to get the second one and get things moving with that. And it's hard for me to separate the two, because like once you see, you can't unsee it. It's something that once seen can't unbe seen. Once you understand the debasement of the currency, the theft that's going on against everyone, regardless of whether you're rich or not, because like they have the same issue too. They just own assets, which puts them on the side of benefiting from the debasement. Once you see that, once you see it for what it is, you can't unsee it. And once you've seen it, I'm like, to go and be like, oh, I'm trading Bitcoin. I'm like, how? Into what? Like, what are you getting that's outperforming Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin becomes the hurdle rate at that point. And I've said it blatantly. There's only two levers that I look at from finance. Bitcoin's my hurdle rate. So it either has to beat Bitcoin or it has to produce income. And those are the only two things that I look at, which is why my stock portfolio is the portfolio that we're building out, very focused Bitcoin treasury companies. That's Bitcoin I'm willing to sell, willing to part with. And we're going to build around that. And then buying Bitcoin. Also, I'll have some altcoins. We have our altcoin play that we're hoping starts getting back to the levels it needs to, so that way we can start making some conversions on that. We have our Ethereum play, which is a long-term hold for me. And we're going to be looking at doing some stuff with that. But at the end of the day, it's like all roads lead back to Bitcoin, because even my staked Ethereum will be taking, after we get to a certain amount, we'll be taking that, what we're accruing on the Ethereum, and using that to buy Bitcoin. So that way we always have like a little trickle going in from that ecosystem over to Bitcoin as well. all roads lead to Rome. And so like that puts me in, and I consider myself a Bitcoin maxi. I do understand that all roads lead to Rome. It's just how you get there strategically is different based on where you're at on the board. And some people have put themselves in positions to where they're in better positions on the board. Other people, we got to do what we got to do. And I don't think that it's okay for the people at the top of the mountain, which is what we're used to, but like it's going away, which I'm happy about, screaming down the mountain at what we should do when they're not where we're at. They're not experiencing that. Like, I mean, even amongst those of us who are in the middle class, like our experiences are different. I'm worth more than a lot of people who are quote unquote middle class because I make very different decisions with my money. And I made it a point to go and learn about how money works, learn about finance so that I can self-direct my finances, because most people are on autopilot. They have somebody who gets paid whether they do well or not, and they're not getting those same results or returns. So, that's what I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tap in with me down in the comments. Let's continue the conversation because I will reply and I will read them. Till next week, it's been another episode of Bag Talk, and it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and I'm out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.